I'm standing on the third green for our May 31st update of the restoration of Dunedin Golf Club. On the front nine, we've finished all irrigation. We have sprigged all greens, and we've sprigged 4 and 5 fairways. On the back nine, we are almost done with the irrigation as far as the main line. We don't have the fairway or the greens irrigation finished yet, and we have just moved to the north end of the course across the bridges to start tilling. The main thing that has happened in the last week or so is all the greens were sprigged on the front nine, so what you see now is 10 days worth of growth. I think they look spectacular for 10 days, and we'll even start mowing them this week. Mowing encourages lateral growth. So what is a sprig? A sprig is basically a blade of grass. It is cut out of a sod field. It came to us in boxes, individual sprigs packed in boxes. We sprigged it a little over 1,400 bushels an acre for our greens. That's hand sprigged. They grab a handful of sprigs and shake it, and the sprigs drop to the ground. You will see that after that, we have a machine go over it and cut the sprigs in. You can kind of think of a pizza cutter at your house. It's actually a wheel that cuts the sprigs in, and behind that is a roller that rolls the green. They cut them in 2 directions on the greens. The reason being that all the sprigs that go down, some of them miss getting cut and all the sprigs won't be viable. Some of them will turn brown and die, and then shade the sprigs underneath that are healthy and green. So it's okay to see a little brown and green in your green when you get going. You don't want that when you're actually growing, but in the beginning it's okay. This looks great. We will mow, get some lateral growth, get this filled in. Next is, as I said, we've sprigged holes 4 and 5 fairways. Almost the same process. The difference is the sprigs on 4 and 5 come to us in a roll of sod. It's called sod to sprigs. That roll of sod goes on a sod to sprig machine, which is basically a conveyor belt, and it chops up the sprigs, chops up the sod into sprigs and a little more clumpy, drops onto the ground, and then the cutters cut it in that are on the machine, and afterwards a different roller goes over it. And you'll see that the process is about the same, 600 bushels an acre on that process. So about half as much, a little less than half as much as on the greens. Both of which we water beforehand to cool the sand. We put down fertilizer beforehand. We use some organic material afterwards. The organic material is stuff that drops out of a chicken or a turkey, drops out of the south end of a chicken or a turkey that's heading north. So there's a little bit of a smell to it, but it really helps the grow in. I think this is going to be fantastic, and we're just going to keep going with this. When we sprig, we have to water about 6 minutes per head per hour. We've got to keep the sprigs wet. We don't want them to dry out. When they dry out, then they turn brown and they are no longer viable. So 6 minutes per sprinkler head per hour, whether it's fairway or green. We're about ready. We're 10 days in, so probably at the end of 16, 17 days, we'll start cutting back on the water on the greens that have been sprigged. But in the very beginning, it's very water intensive. So thanks for listening, and the project's still going forward, and it really looks great.